Alright. For today, I want to check out this video that just randomly showed up on my recommended. I don't know. But it is called How to Win Monopoly Every Time by Way Too Simple. And I'm not exactly sure how this is going to go. If this was the card game, I have an idea. Because I have tried that out finally with my friend group in real life. I won my first one. Not the ones after, though, but I won the first one. That's all that matters. But anyways, let's get into this. If you enjoy his video, or you want to check out some of his other ones, because he does have some other ones that are kind of similar. Well, not kind of similar. There's a lot that are similar, like how to win all these other games every time. And if you're interested in one of those, go ahead and go to his channel, check him out. But let's get into this.
With random dice rolls, chaos from each of the other players, and selected chance cards, you're probably thinking Monopoly is purely a game of luck and chance. Not only is there a way to control the game, but also use certain strategies to put yourself at an advantage every single time. In this video, I will look at every single Monopoly strategy to help you win the game. This includes property statistics and
Jesus Christ, what is this? Rate of interest. Wait, no. I see.
issues with thinking that orange properties are a go-to for every single game choice, as well as looking at whether you should buy train stations and utilities. We'll also cover house and hotel strategies and the timing involved with this, and then finally overall game strategies to help you get the edge, and all this in just under 8 minutes. So, here's how you win a Monopoly every time. Firstly, properties. Let's start in the early game. Once the game starts and you are
Me personally, getting this side, the pink slash magenta and oranges are generally the ones I try to procure the fastest.
able to move around the board one time
Okay.
now, it is your time to shine. Once you pass that go step, be sure to buy any properties that you are landing on for two big reasons. First off, owning properties means that you can charge rent sooner, which means you can start charging your opponents early in the game. But the $22 rent is winning no one Monopoly games really. The main
Okay, wait, just cutting in real quick. The other reason why I like getting both the pinks and orange is because once you go into the go to jail part, I mean, most of the doubles are going to land on this side, and you have a chance to just never see greens or blues if you go to jail. So that's why I usually like to go for these ones the most. And I'm trying to think about what could possibly be the strategy that you would want to aim for.
part of this is ensuring you block opponents from getting sets and can then make better trades go forward. Avoid saving your money until you get the exact properties you're wanting, as this will put you at a definite disadvantage. But that really begs the question, what are the best properties? This comes from two perspectives: the probabilities to be landed on and return on investment.
Yeah.
If we look at a heat map of the board, it is evident that orange are the hotspot properties because they are within one roll from jail. This is followed by
Oh, I guess he was gonna explain that anyways.
light blue, red, yellow and green. The probability of landing on each orange property is about 2.8%, and if we take the return on investment values for each set with hotels by dividing the hotel rent by total cost, dark blue has a ROI of 1.75, yellow 1.56, and orange with a 1.93. In fact, the ranking of each property in Monopoly based on likelihood to land and profitability goes as follows, so be sure to consider this when making trades and looking to buy certain properties.
Interesting. So yellow and green, you actually don't want to upgrade the hotel for the maximum return on interest. You want to stop at just 3 houses, not even 4? What? That is very strange. Red is barely profitable.
So, given that you land on orange the most and have a higher return on interest, surely just go for these ones every time. But there is one major problem we forget to consider.
Everyone's got to try to do it.
The problem? Skill level. We need to know what kind of players are involved in this game. In the instance that all players are aware of this information, everyone will try and secure oranges and the close followers. Then, only give up their property cards for extreme values knowing the power they hold. This means you end up making trades that may actually not be worth it, regardless of how good these particular properties are.
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know that aiming for the pinks and oranges was an actual strategy. I've never thought about strategizing in Monopoly. I always just thought about, all right, what's happening in the game? All right, I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna go get this. I'm gonna take this. That's it. I've never put in deeper thought into Monopoly because I don't know. I've never got like so heated like the way people always describe trying to how Monopoly like ruins friendships the same as like Mario Kart or Mario Party. I mean, I've never I've never experienced that.
So, what is a solution? Luckily, I have one. First, we need to consider what players you are with. In a situation where you don't think any of the players are aware of this information, proceed with going for oranges and red as priority because they will undoubtedly win you the game. However, what if there are other players that do know about this info? Instead of just thinking about red and orange, consider this. If you land on red or orange, without hesitation buy these properties, but as everyone is aware of their value, don't get your hopes set on completing that set.
Yeah, I mean, that's obvious. Like, you hope that you can get it, but don't make it set in stone that's your only goal. Like, what? Do people... I know there are some people that probably just want one thing and they never change, but I think that's just such a narrow-minded view of how to play anything or do anything. Like, you're not going to ever get everything handed to you the way you want it.
Instead, keep the oranges or red as a gatekeeper for later in the game.
Yeah?
But you can't just go around without any sets waiting for the end. This is why you should think about other heavy-duty property sets. In general, the second color group on each side of the board offers a greater return on investment. As a result, in this high-skill Monopoly lobby, going for light blue or pink can benefit evident reward, given they are often overlooked. And we'll get to the best ways to maximize profits on these properties with houses and hotels soon. And now for the final set of property groups, train stations and utilities. Railroads are good investments, but only if you own them all. So if you're going for them, try and make sure you obtain the whole set first, or if another player is making the run for them, don't be afraid to block their streak. And then utilities. In general, stay away from utilities as their return on investment is relatively poor and committing...
I've never viewed these positively as a thing to buy. Like, maybe if you were to just trade them out for something, that's really it. I've like, it seems like, oh wow, you could have potentially $120. That's it. Like, these need to be increased a lot more as like baseline if you want these to be like competitively viable. Like, they're just not even close, and they're so specifically placed as well, and you can't increase them. Like, these are like horrible, honestly, in my opinion.
Money to them can take away from your ability to buy other properties. Now, moving on to houses and hotels. Rule 1. Try to build 3 houses on your properties as soon as possible. This is because the rent increases heavily after building the 3rd house. As a result,
okay, so that's a min-max. Okay, I see that, because like, the way I would describe it right now, this is the only thing that comes to mind, but in Deadlock, the 4,800 soul barrier that you want to breach on your 3 stats is where you get the biggest breakthrough for stats from those respective categories. It's the same thing here, I would say, because 800 here, 600 here, whereas the next one is only half of that. Well, sometimes less than that.
Ahead and possibly have enough money to secure 3 houses as soon as possible, putting your opponents in a troublesome situation. Of course, be sure to save enough money for rent, utilities, and tax charges. Rule 2. Don't upgrade to hotels. There are only 32 houses in Monopoly, which means that...
Yeah, this is another one that my family or friends, like, we would also do is you just keep the houses, so then other people can't make their houses. And then, because once you upgrade the hotel, the houses go back into the pool, and then everyone else can use them too. So you like to just hoard a group of the houses so other people can't upgrade as well.
Hoarding them prevents other players from building and increasing their rent. However, if you are closing towards the end of the game, and the rent cost from a hotel could cause a player to go bankrupt, then feel free to upgrade. Okay. Rule 3. You can build hotels and houses at any point of the game. If you notice your opponent is near one of your monopolies, then place some extra houses down so you can get increased rent as they have.
That's some min-max shit I would definitely do, like in video games when I'm playing by myself or like in a small group where it's like us against other things. But in the Monopoly, I don't think I would ever do this. I would not even think about, oh, let me just upgrade this right before you roll. And then they just stare at me, just like, are you kidding me? Like, yeah, that's gonna make things way more. You're gonna have way more fights if you play like that. I like it though, it's so evil.
A greater chance to land on.
Wait, my question is, after this, I'm trying to remember how you sell and how it works. Because do you go back down to 4, or does it go away and rebuy all the houses?
Rule 4. Don't be afraid to mortgage properties to build on others. Mortgaging properties allows you to get a big influx of money that you can use right away. If you see that your opponents are low on money and their near monopoly is your own, mortgage one of your other properties to get some building money and add houses. That way, your opponent has to pay more rent and will go bankrupt much sooner. And finally, for general tactics to help you secure that win every single time. Once all the properties are bought, be sure to stay in jail for as long as possible. If you land in...
This is like one of the earliest like strategies I've always seen and heard of, is aiming to go to jail, because like it's 3 turns minimum, or 3 turns maximum wasted here, so you don't have to worry about losing money, because literally anything can be bad. Chance can be bad. I mean, landing on their property is bad, so it's like this is just your free relief for a bit.
Jail early in the game. Use a get out of jail free
Wait, did he say, oh, when it's early in the game, you don't want to be in jail, late game?
Card or pay the $50 fine, so you can keep moving around the board and buying properties. Once most of the properties are owned and built later in the game, waiting in the jail space keeps you from spending money. Simply roll the dice and stay in jail until you roll doubles, or until you pay the fine after 3 turns. In fact, when charging players rent, force players to pay rent as cash. Players will have to mortgage or sell.
Oh, I see. Okay. That is also a good way to do that. Here, I'll let him explain because he's about to, instead of me doing it.
Properties to have enough money.
Because he'll be faster.
Some players may try to offer properties as well as a trade to cover their rent, but be strict when you ask for cash. This forces players to sell buildings or mortgage their own properties, which then stops them collecting as much money. And lastly, remember that 7 is the most common dice roll. Knowing common dice rolls helps you to predict where players will land. Because you're always rolling 2 dice, 7 is the most common roll on any given turn, and 2 and 12 are the least probable. Most of the time, it takes 5 or 6 dice rolls to circle the board once. Because 28 of the 40 spaces are property spaces, you will likely land on 4 of those 28 property spaces during a lap around the board.
Okay. I think that is a good one. Because, like, that's why in Catan, like, you have other ones. You have craps where you have to roll 7. Like, it is the most common. Also, if you don't know, for some reason, on a dice, this is how you can also tell if it's a real dice or not, or a fake one. The opposite sides of a dice face always add the 7. So if a 6 is on top, 1 is on the bottom. If a 2 is on the top, 5 is on the bottom. 3 and 4, so on, like that. And if you can understand that these are the most common ones and you aim for them, especially on a, as he said, like once you're in jail and you get to turn 7, I mean, look at it. That's just a community chest. That's free there.
The board once.
But if you were to go and start on go, wait, why does it start here? I'm now confused. What, from free parking? No. Wait. I need to re-understand what he just talked about here.
7. Remember that 7 is the most common dice roll. Knowing common dice rolls helps you to predict where players will land. Because you're always rolling 2 dice, 7 is the most common roll on any given turn, and 2 and 12 are the least probable. Most of the time, it takes 5 or 6 dice rolls to circle the board once. Because 28 of the 40 spaces are property spaces, you will likely land on 4 of those 28 property spaces during a lap around the board.
So you land on 4 of the 28 on a given lap, with 7 being the most common. What? I mean, if you were to go with 7 being the most common, and assuming you reach here... Wait,
Least
is that the one
probably
he
4 of those
highlighted?
28.
No. I don't know then. Yeah, but if you are interested in his other videos and you want to see the other ones, go over to Way Too Simple channel and subscribe. Leave a like on his video if you do enjoy it. Anyway, I think we're done here. With that, we out.